What's going on, my fishing fam? I really hope you guys enjoyed that last video, man. A blast getting out there to get offshore, do some spear fishing. I don't know about you guys, but if you're like me, I love sheep's head, man. It's probably got to be, if we had a top 10 in Florida as far as table quality, sheep's head is definitely up there for me. It's a ton of fun to get out there and bag some of those, some groupers, some bonitas, just all around great day, man. What I want to do today is show you guys my kayak setup. Now, I've gotten a request from a couple other people in some various videos that they wanted to see what my setup is on my kayak, everything that I bring along for me in order to pull off an awesome fishing day and just have a good old time. Starting off, this is my kayak right here. This is a Pelican Sentinel 100. It's a 10-foot kayak. It's a sit-on-top kayak. I'm not really a big fan of the sit-in kayaks in case you end up rolling over. I've never ended up rolling or falling off my kayak before, but I'm sure there's always a first for everything. Let me just give you guys a rundown of everything that I've got on it. Starting up here on the nose, obviously you guys are gonna see I've got all kinds of stickers and decals and, you know, stuff that I've picked up over the years that I added onto my kayak. But starting off with the nose right here, I went ahead about a year ago, installed a Gopro mount right here on the front of my kayak. So basically I'll get two perspectives. I'll get the head cam and then also get this front cam right here. Really handy tool, really glad I installed that. Been a killer perspective getting that other view. So moving on back, next thing we're going to come to is these right here. These I just installed not too long ago. These are actually scupper plugs. Now, if you guys aren't familiar, scupper plugs prevent water from coming into your kayak. Now, if you're used to getting a lot of water in your kayak, you would want to remove these scupper plugs so that obviously the water can be able to drain out on its own. The only bad part is that it does allow a little bit of water into a certain level. So technically you're always going to be in the water a little bit deeper and have a little more drag. Now, if you're not really worried about a lot of water getting inside of your kayak, I would definitely recommend getting scupper plugs. Also too, they'll make you sit just a little bit higher outside of the water, and I feel they help me go just a little bit faster. But like I said, on days that I know I'm going to be taking a lot of water over the edge, things like that, I will remove these plugs, just pull on them, pop them right out, you know, set them to the side, you come back home, pop them right back in, you're good to go. Really useful little tool, maybe costs you $5 to $10. Moving on back now, this right here, great little accessory. This is a Yak Gear paddle leash. If you're hooked up on a big fish or you don't want to be having to do a lot of cross-body paddling, you know, this can fall over the edge into the water and you don't have to worry about that getting away from you. It's on a nice little bungee right here that secures right to your kayak, so you know you're not going to lose your paddle at all. You know, you get done landing your fish, lift this up, put it right back on top of your kayak, and you're good to go. Moving just a little bit farther back here, and inside of this bag, I have a dry bag inside of here. Now, I don't have one of those bags. It's a dry bag backpack all in one. I ended up having these separate, so I end up just putting my dry bag inside here and all the stuff that I'm pretty much gonna need. Then on the outside, I've got a couple of things that I'll need to get to kind of quick. I've got a de-hooker that's right here and also a pair of saltwater bogas. These will come in handy right here when you're grabbing some toothy fish that are on the side of your kayak and really don't want to boat flip them into the kayak. That's a pretty awesome tool to have. And then on the other side of my bag here, got something that all of us in Florida pretty much need at any given moment, which is a can of Deep Woods Off. You go somewhere that really has some nasty boat ramps, you got tons of no-see-ums, tons of mosquitoes. This stuff right here, having it on the side of your bag, is a lifesaver. Keep you from getting bit 1,000 times. The front here is where I keep a lot of my lures at, my soft plastics. You guys will see right here, a bunch of soft plastics, different ones, swim baits, DOA shrimps, all kinds of good stuff. Let's get this thing out of the way. Moving back a little bit farther, this is to me what makes my kayak just one of the best ones. I know you can buy a kayak. Mine doesn't actually come with rod holders. I wish it did. I'll be looking to get mine replaced in a little while here, but it doesn't have rod holders. So the next best thing that I could come up with is that I had a small little igloo cooler left over a couple of years ago that was missing the top to it. So what I did was I ended up sectioning up a couple of PVC pieces here. You'll see total I've got 6 all the way around this thing. And then you'll see I've got some stainless steel hardware going inside of these. I pre-drilled the holes. Got some stainless steel hardware inside of there. And on the inside I've got these hex nuts right here. Besides just being rod holders, I actually went ahead and carved out some grooves right here that you guys see inside of the PVC rod holders specifically for a couple of bait casters. You'll notice that the knuckle of the bait caster sits right in there. You don't have to worry about, like, I can't twist this thing left and right. It won't move. So it's a nice little addition right there if you don't want your lures and your rods, you know, swinging all the way around doing this the whole time. It's really nice to have those little notches all the way around for your bait casters to be able to sit nice and tight. It doesn't have to just be a rod holder. You can also put in other things right here like a net. You also have a small gaff if you need to. You can also drop one of those in there as well. a really handy all-around tool, and a good way to dedicate a small little igloo cooler into being not only just a cooler where you can put, let's say I pull up on a little section of island to get some mud crabs, or you find some sand fleas or any kind of small baits, or even some cut baits. You could throw them right in here, no problem. Just rinse this thing out later on, you're good to go. So a really multi-purpose tool, and really is what I believe is the heart of my kayak. And then also, if you're gonna be out kayaking, I would recommend a pair of these. Now these are just flats boots right here, just generic flats boots. I think these are made by Magellan, and I picked these up at Academy. I think they're on sale for like 25 or 30 bucks, but really useful, man. If you end up having to pull up on anywhere, like I end up pulling up on a lot of oyster beds where I grab, you know, mud crabs and sand fleas like I was mentioning. And when you get out of your kayak, most of the time those oyster beds, they will cut you to shreds if you do not have something on, like good foot protection right here, so you can walk around on top of those oysters no problem, get right back in your kayak. They're easy to hose off and they're super lightweight, so definitely recommend getting these. And if you guys are also going to be out on the flats fishing too, make sure that these flats boots that you get also have the Achilles guard on it to prevent from stingray barbs. Those stingray barbs have been known to hit people in the back of the ankles here and then the Achilles, so having this extra reinforcement right here in your flats boots will definitely keep you nice and safe when you're in stingray territory. Another thing I wanted to point out to you guys is these. You know, after you've had your kayak for many years, these handles can obviously just break off. This line right here can get pretty damaged and almost wear out and then snap right off. So I ended up having these replaced about maybe 2 months ago. Got these really heavy duty handles, makes it nice and easy when it comes to pulling your kayak and towing it around. One more thing that I forgot to mention, inside of here, when I'm on the way out, let's say I don't have any baits or anything like that, I'll also keep one of these. Now, this is a saltwater stringer. So you want to clip this right onto your kayak. Clips right on right there. You can go ahead and open these rings up right here, put all the fish that you've been catching for the day on them. You know, these things are an awesome little tool to be having, and keeps, if I remember correct, I think you can keep up to 10 fish on this. And it's got sectioned off, you see these clips, they're every couple of inches you've got one. Now when you buy the Tsunami stringer here, it comes in 14 feet. So when you're on a kayak, you don't need 14 feet of line going away from your kayak. That's just gonna get snagged on stuff. I actually didn't trim it at the very beginning and lost a really big trout where one of these hooks right here got caught on a little rock or a branch underneath. It opened up and my giant trout just swam right away. So I ended up sectioning that up and dropping it down to where it's maybe total about 6 feet now. And it's a really good distance to have the fish away from your kayak. Just got to remember, when you do hook into a fish and you're bringing them upside next to the kayak here, be mindful of which side your stringer is on and where it's at. You know, you don't want to lose that catch because it gets caught up in it. So every once in a while, to prevent that, I'll put a fish on a stringer here, maybe halfway down on it, and then take the remaining end right here and then rehook that back onto my kayak where my carabiner is. Now, instead of 6 feet, now I've shortened it up to 3 feet, and you can still have your fish on the stringer here. So you basically got 2 connections to your kayak and the rest of your fish on the stringer out here. Then of course, you know, if you start to catch more and you needed to get loaded up, you can always just unclip that and go right back to your 6 foot length that you've got. And now you can restring the rest of your fish on there. So a really handy little tool. I put a lot of my buddies onto using something like that. They all said that they love it. Keeps your fish alive, it keeps them fresh. You don't need to bring ice with you and have this giant, you know, ice cooler bag at the front of your kayak taking up all the space. Just gives them a way to keep them in the water. Like I said, stay fresh, no ice. Also too, sometimes if you have Jack Crevalle and other schooling fish, keeping them on the stringer right next to your kayak will make the other ones a little curious and want to come in and take a look at them. That sometimes will lead to more hookups. I've seen that happen a bunch of times. And never once have I actually had a dolphin, even though I've had dolphins in pretty close proximity, I've never had a dolphin or a shark ever try to snag any of my catches off of my stringer. The kayak itself being 10 feet already deters a lot of animals that want to come around and take a look at your catch. So it's a really useful tool. So that's pretty much it, man. That's my arsenal right there. Really awesome little setup. I love it. Like I said, I'll be looking to get this replaced in maybe another year or two, but for now, she gets the job done and I love it. Love having my kayak, man. If you guys haven't gotten into kayaking or really, you know, thinking about doing it, get a kayak, man. I really recommend it. It's a way for you to creep up on some of these fish in some of these areas, really silent, get into some really skinny water that you wouldn't be able to get into in a boat. And trust me, getting into those mangrove areas and those, you know, spots that are back in the river that other boats can't get to, it's going to lead to a lot more hookups and you'll find some monster fish back in there. I love some inshore fishing. My kayak makes that happen for me, so I really recommend you guys to go out there and get one. Right now at Academy, I think they've got one on sale, which is the Pelican Challenger 100, which is the 10-footer, also has built-in rod holders, and I think it's about $249 right now. I'll leave a link in the description down below that will take you to the kayak section over there to check out that Pelican Challenger. And if you purchase it through my link, it provides a little bit of income to me and helps me make more of these videos and keep a lot more content coming you guys' way. So big thanks to Academy Sports for putting a little partnership together with me, and big thanks to you guys if you guys decide to go through that link. If you purchase anything through that link at all, like I said, throws me a little bit of support and helps me make more of these videos. That's gonna wrap it up. I hope you guys appreciate checking out my setup. If you're not a subscriber, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Show your support for a Florida boy. I really do appreciate it as always. You guys are awesome. Tight lines, safe kayaking. I'll see you guys around. Later.